Oh, Hip Flask, you're a hippopotamus. Hippos aren't supposed to walk on two legs like that. Oh, hello there. How are you doing today? My name is Mr. S. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to part 2 of Do I Have That Book Challenge? Graphic Novel Edition. I'm just gonna go through the same questions I did on the previous Do I Have That Book Challenge, but try to make it work for graphic novels just to see how many of them will actually work. Graphic novels are amazing. I love them. Each of them are their own little art book. It just makes me so happy. So let's jump right in. Starting with question number 1. Do you have a book with tattered or deckled edges? I don't think I've ever seen a graphic novel with deckled edges, but I'll take a look. I do not, and that's probably for the best. Deckled edges would make a graphic novel kind of difficult to read. Question number 2. Do you have a book with 3+ people on the cover? Well, with a lot of the graphic novels, there's usually way more than 3 characters on the cover, so I'm gonna see if I can find one with just 3 characters on it, just to make things a little bit trickier for myself. That is a yes. I have my old trade of Batman Mad Love and Other Stories, got Harley Quinn, Joker, and the Batman on it. This is the older printing of it. You can tell because it has the older DC logo. And I like this one more than the new printing because of that cover on the inside of the dust jacket. That's a very Harley Quinn cover. Question 3. Do you have a book based on another fictional story? I'm assuming based means it's not the exact same story, so I don't think that Image's retelling of The Wizard of Oz counts, but man, this is gorgeous. I will say this one counts. This is Second Quest. It's based on the Legend of Zelda series as a whole, but more specifically Skyward Sword, and it tells it from the perspective of what if the princess, in this case the Zelda analog, didn't want to do what Zelda is required to do in Skyward Sword. It basically flips it on its head. Question 4. Do you have a book with a title that is 10 letters long? Probably. And I was correct. I have here the graphic novel Batman Noel. Batman Noel equals 10 letters. I can count. I'm not just an artist. I also have rudimentary math skills. Get this book, it's great! Question 5. Do you have a book with a title that starts and ends with the same letter? That I do. Superman, Batman, Enemies Among Us. That's all the title, because it's there on the spine, begins and ends with the letter S, and I love this book. Question 6. Do you have a mass market paperback book? Well, mass market paperbacks are usually about this size, and they're basically the smallest available size for printed media. So, graphic novels have the manga equivalent of the tankobon volumes. They're quite small in comparison to what a normal-sized comic book would be like. So in this case, I'll say that this counts. Question 7. Do you have a book written by an author using a pen name? Yes, I do. I have 9 volumes from the Legend of Zelda manga series written and drawn by Akira Himekawa, which is actually 2 women write and draw this, A. Honda and S. Nagano. They come together and form the name Akira Himekawa. Question 8. Do you have a book with a character's name in it? Well, a lot of the stuff like Batman and Superman and things, they have the character's name in it, so that's actually pretty easy. So I think I want to spotlight one that's a little bit more unusual. That being this one right here. The complete shebang of Scud, the Disposable Assassin. This is great. Check this out if you like comic books and you like really cool black and white artwork. Scud is awesome. Question 9. Do you have a book with 2 maps in it? That would be a no. You don't want to know how long I spent looking through these. Just move on. To question number 10. Do you have a book that was turned into a TV show? Yes, I do. I have the volumes of Bleach that were turned into the anime series, obviously. I wonder if I have any more. I do. I have one volume of the Hilda graphic novel series. This one, Hilda and the Midnight Giant. It was turned into the Netflix series, and this volume is actually probably my favorite episode from that Netflix series. Question 11, do you have a book written by someone who was originally famous for doing something else? Well, Greg Hurwitz was originally famous for doing crime novels before he transitioned into doing some comic book work for DC on Batman the Dark Knight, so that counts. Question 12. Do you have a book with a clock on the cover? This one's hard. I do not. Do you have a poetry book for number 13? I do not. Number 14. Do you have a book with an award stamp on it? Comic books usually don't get award stamps unless they're ones like Mouse or Watchmen, so no. Question 15. Do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? I don't anymore. No, I'm sad. So question 16. Do you have a book of short stories? Yes. I have several volumes of the Flight series of graphic novels. This is a bunch of short stories all themed or supposed to be themed around the idea or concept of flight in some way, shape, or form. In the later volumes, like this is volume 6, they kind of got really away from that, but they're still pretty good overall. Question 17. Do you have a book that is in between 500 and 510 pages? I can tell you right now, no, and I really don't feel like looking through it to confirm that. The thickest one I have is that Scud volume over there, and that's over 700 pages. None of these are going to be 500 pages, which just is not going to happen. Question 18. Do you have a book that was turned into a movie? Two of them sprang to mind immediately off the top of my head, the first being All You Need Is Kill, which was transformed into the Hollywood film Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, as well as Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was turned into Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from DC Animated. I wish they had kept this title because it's a lot more about the team up than it is about the fight, but still super, super excellent. This artist, he has my favorite interpretation of any Batman I've ever seen. Question 19. Do you have a graphic novel? The one that I will highlight for this question is Beasts of Burden from Dark Horse Comics. These are some of the most beautiful hardcover volumes I've ever seen. They're so excellently done. Dark Horse has never done any bad binding or bad quality on any of their stuff. The comic inside is excellent. It's a really interesting horror series. I would check this out if you like horror and you're interested in something a little bit more off the beaten path than your typical comic book. And last one, question 20. Do you have a book written by 2 or more authors? I certainly do. Jonah Hex, Face Full of Violence, written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti. Jimmy Palmiotti, actually, at the Comic-Con that I went to last year where he drew that really awesome Jonah Hex picture in there for me. And that wraps it up, ladies and gentlemen. Got pretty sad near the middle there when I didn't have basically at least 3 or 4 of them in a row, but I think we pulled through at the end. Just kind of wanted to give some highlight to comic books and graphic novels. A lot of people think a lot of the times that they're made for just kids or that you're like immature if you like them. So I don't think that's the case. I think you should be allowed to like what you like and not have to feel bad about it as long as what you like isn't hurting anybody else. Like, who cares? I'm 30 years old. I have a huge collection of comic books. It's probably going to keep getting larger because I love them. My dog is telling me it's time for me to stop this video now, so thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, have yourselves a good day. Sky, come here. Come here, baby. Come on. She doesn't love me.